Dan, another shootout loss. You guys clearly work on this quite a bit in practice. A lot of times conclude practice with it. What more can be done there to improve? I mean, can this be going into the video work or one-on-ones? Just what more can be done to get better results there?
All those things. Yeah, it's going to have to be all those things. It's not, it's costing us points. So we're going to continue to work at it. I think it is. Each night's going to be. There's a different story to it. I mean, I thought Artie made couple big saves, gave us a chance in it today, and we also need to score goals. So it's both sides, and so we got to put work on both sides. All those things that you mentioned are things that have been done, that will be continue to be done, and it's obviously it's been costing us. So we have to we'll continue to address it.
Dan, on the other hand, you have to be happy with at least the chances you're generating in overtime, and that's pretty much been a constant theme recently in 3-on-3, hasn't it?
The last two have been our probably best of the year. I mean, that's where it's, you go through some games too. Like if Montreal, we win in the shootout, but our overtime, I thought Montreal took it to us, most of that. And, and so I think we just got to find ways to continue to get the types of chances we were getting here tonight. I thought we had the puck, obviously the great majority of it. And there's still times they're coming back the other way, but, there's still – it wasn't good enough in terms of us getting that extra point. And so even within the good things that we're doing possession-wise, chance-wise, how do we do a little bit more? Like how can we get a little bit more out of it? And we have to, we have to continue to find ways, continue to work on these areas.
What is your assessment of the second period as a whole? It seemed a little sluggish, and like you gave up some momentum there in the second period.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was the great majority of the period. I think it was just everything was too slow. It was rather than a combination of I think too slow and poor execution at times. Like our breakouts were slower. We were slowing it down. Like we would hesitate before we moved it up ice, and when we're hesitating before we move it up ice, that's allowing them. They're an aggressive team. That allowed them to get right on top of us, and then it just. I didn't like the second. I thought overall the first period there was a lot of good things. In the third period, I thought we corrected those areas that I think we're missing in the second.
How did you feel Silovs played before the shootout?
I thought he played well. I thought there were some huge saves at the end. Like when it was a close game, and there was a number of times there thinking to myself, we're going to look back and remember that save, remember that. A few times there in the third, and so he's very well. They've been playing at a high level coming off of the break, and so no issues.
Dan, I guess I've asked you a couple times about Evgeny Malkin on the wing, but this time I'll ask you about Tommy Novak and him adjusting to playing with Malkin on his right. What's your assessment of how that's going?
I think the lines, they're getting chances. I think even it felt like coming out of the zone tonight, they were able, especially early on, they were able to generate a good amount of speed coming up ice. And so, I mean, Tommy and Gino have a little bit of time together, prior to us putting that line. So there's a little bit, and I feel like I guess we've always felt like that, those are guys that can read off each other, play off each other, complement each other.
You mentioned some of the chances you generated in overtime. Ben Kindle had a couple there. At the same time, it's been, I think, 16 games without a goal for him. Still, he's involved in the offense here and there. Just what's your assessment of Ben as he maybe weathers a stretch here, at least without a goal?
I mean, you still see him involved in the offense, getting chances. I think it's, when you get to, it's been a little while too, you can't overthink it. I think it's about getting to the areas, and then just, you guys I think we all have to remember too, he's a young player. He's 18 years old. And so like within your, an NHL season, like there's things that you're going to learn too, especially your first NHL season, about the game and about adjustments. And, teams are maybe, if they are playing you harder, how do you get a little bit more space? How do you get a little bit more room at the net front? And that has been an ongoing process for him this year, and it's going to continue to be an ongoing process as a young player. And I think it's just continuing to make sure, working on those areas and finding ways to get a little bit more space, get pucks off a little bit quicker. And it's, but he is getting chances. He's getting looks. You saw a number of them there. even tonight, especially in the overtime.
How much did you sort of like the pushback, especially late, to get the equalizer and to get at least one out of this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tight game. We had chances. They had some chances. I mean, it was pretty even. I think relative to the score, I think would have liked. I think we'd like to have our power play be a little sharper and maybe be the difference. But yeah, I mean, even overtime, we possessed the puck a lot. So unfortunately, couldn't get the next one.
Does it become a little bit of a mental thing with the team? I mean, with Artie being 1-7 and the shootout struggles.
I don't know. I think you have different ways that you get to the shootout. Obviously, when you work your way back into the game. I think you're excited just to lengthen the game and to still be trying to get that extra point. So I don't think the prior ones really matter. I don't think we really think about that. I think that each one's a new opportunity to get more points, and we got to find ways to do that.
You guys have played pretty strong defensively since the break. Just how did you feel about the overall defensive effort tonight?
It was pretty good. I thought in the second they got some momentum. Artie made some big saves, but there were some chances on both sides. But I thought for the most part, like you said, we've been defending pretty hard, and there's always things that we can clean up. But I think our mindset's in the right place.
Arturs, just the obvious question here: what do you guys need to do better in the shootout?
I mean, I think like the first one they scored, it's like, kind of. I felt I was all over it, and somehow I find a way. I think it's just like, we're just gonna keep working on it, and I think we're getting better, but I think still there's another level.
You guys clearly have skill, particularly in that area of the game. Can something like this become mental when some of the losses start piling up? Or?
For sure, you want to win in a shootout. I think we played really good overtime, and we did. Scoring a late goal in the third to tie the game, get a big point, and yeah, for sure, after that you want to win the game, but things happen the way they happen, and just get ready for the next one.
Before the shootout, were you happy with your game?
Yeah, I think I was pretty good. I think. Sure, you want maybe stop more, but I think overall, I think it was a pretty good game.